Well, hello! What an exciting time to talk about depression. Yay! Depression and how to fight it. So, a lot of us, present company included, suffer from depression. Now, I'm going to open up a little bit more than I have before, but I've tried to twice. And various means, nothing too intense. That's my mode of operandi. So, but I feel there's been several years have gone by since my last experiment with that area of my life, and I feel so much better. I just, the those thoughts don't necessarily, actually, I haven't had any of those thoughts for quite a while. They try to creep in there, but it's mostly like, oh, you're not worth it. You're not helping anybody. You should. And so I end up taking a nap. I end up going to sleep. I end up or taking a shower. I end up doing something that in order to calm or quell those thoughts in my head. Am I on medication? Yes, I'm on medication. Do I need to tell you what kind of medication I'm on? Not necessarily, but I am on Zoloft. It works for me. It works for me, and everybody's on their own medication, and you should talk to various different doctors and see what is best for you. Or if medication is good for you at all. Various people have go through various treatments. So how did I go from that particular, and do I still have a ways to go? Oh, totally. And how did it start? Well, I'm not sure. Perhaps it started when I was hit on the head with a bat when I was younger. We were playing baseball and I accidentally got hit. It was an accident. I got hit. I was picking up the bases. They thought they were playing. I thought they weren't. Bah, I got hit on the head with a metal bat. I literally saw double. I had glasses at the time, so it could have been really, really bad. But I don't know what that have done to my brain at that time. I know that, people say you go through your teenage years and you change, but I really felt like just this angst and this fury in a lot of ways, almost like a dragon, almost like literally a dragon trapped inside of me. And I had to chain it up by some means of force. And then on top of that, knowing that I practice magic and knowing that I have magical abilities, please, thank you. So all of that stress, wanting to save the world, everything all put together. So it just kind of stresses you out. It hurts. And everybody has their own elements of why their depression is there, why they feel, circumstances. Sometimes it's not circumstances. Sometimes it's parenting, growing up, relationships, things that have happened, trauma, just a myriad of things that will send you into that hole of depression where you feel like you're gasping for air and you cannot get out. And you feel like nobody is there. Nobody's there to help you. Nobody's there to help you, and you are there alone, and there's no answers other than your dark thoughts. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm talking about? Does that hit home a little bit for you? So let's talk about my personal things that I've heard on that I love sharing. So I love caring about people. And that's another one of those tools that have really kind of gripped me out of that hole. Most recently, I actually went through almost like a week of just like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Sometimes I actually do think it's actually also the stars. Maybe sometimes going on with different frequencies, different energies, different vibrations. Within the past couple half a month, I've been feeling really, really funky. So I'm getting out of it, and I have to make that choice to get out of it. So let's talk about my tips. First of all, when you wake up in the morning, you have to have gratitude. You have to have love and gratitude for the earth and for the world. I'm getting phlegmy. You're gonna be like, that's disgusting. I don't fucking care. So you have to have gratitude for the earth. You have to have gratitude and understanding for the earth and what is happening around you. You have to say thank you. Literally say thank you. The moment you go up, thank you. Try to remember. Write down your dreams because your dreams are messages. And if you're getting messages, that means you have a journey. You have something to do. You have something to think about. Maybe they're prophetic. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're dealing with your psyche. I don't know. Write it down. So just have that sense of gratitude. You're awake. Yay. A lot of people recommend cold shower. As soon as you get up in the morning, cold shower, just jump and then let that cold water run through your head because they say that cold water running through your head puts you in the like fight or fight mode. I don't know what kind of mode it is, but that weird mode, and it kind of wakes you up. It kind of like, 'cause you're like, okay, I can take this on. I can take this on. These things are weird. These things are panicking me. I can take this on. On the flip side, another thing that I recommend that I've recently started doing, I used to do the ice plunges. But actually, you can save yourself a lot of time with just getting a bucket, put a bunch of ice in it, and just dip your head for 30 seconds. Try to do 30 seconds. Now, usually when I can dip my head in the water, I can hold my breath in water longer than 30 seconds, like a minute, minute and a half, something like that. Maybe a minute, right? Maybe a minute. So, when I go literally in the cold, icy water, it's like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and I'm like out. Because my body, my physical body, and my spiritual mind, and the chaos, and all of the energy that I've accumulated of stress, it hitting a wall. So it's like my mind and my body, it's like, going back to that primal moment, that fish state, that embryonic element. It's both the psyche, they're like, they're trying to like, so you'll notice like your breath and your body is literally shutting into the psyche. So at that moment, you can kind of realize there's something going on with the chemistry of your brain, with the chemistry of your body, with what's going on with the physically, with the energy, with your mind, mind over matter, all those things. Then you go into friends. Friends. You gotta have friends. We're going to a 6 minute. You gotta have friends. Friends. Call out friends. Be like, if someone's calling you, if somebody's messing you for some strange, bizarre reason, that's an angel. That's an angel. You need to reach out and you need to touch base and be like, hey, listen, I heard you, you know? And in turn, when you're feeling that freaky, weaky energy about somebody, you gotta be like, hey, I'm gonna call that person. I'm gonna be like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? I love you. You know what I mean? Just sense your vibes. Know what's going on. Feel that energy. Know what's happening. Foods. Okay, so bread. Ooh, I know. I'm trying to switch over to potatoes. It's hard because it's like in the United States, a lot of things are processed. You know, when you go to the supermarket and it's really expensive, you want to look at like fresh, and it's like, oh, how do you get fresh? And then you have to go and get it every day. It's like, oh, you know what I mean? So the point is that a lot of these foods do stuff to your body. So definitely experiment with the greens, with the salads, with expanding your vocabulary longer than the things that are processed. You know, a lot of things that the more processed stuff it, the more it's gonna mess with your brain. So the less processing that you can remove from elements in your life, the better your life will be. Um, so air, who knew? I, for the longest time in my life, only thought that I could breathe out of one nostril at a time. And then I learned that you're supposed to, because that's what somebody told me, I think. And so that it flops back and forth. No, you're supposed to be able to breathe out of both nostrils at the same time. But I have a collapsed nostril, so I am seeing a doctor about that, and I'm getting that treated. But a lot of people don't do the test. See, I can't breathe. I can't breathe right now. Like, you know what I mean? Because it deviates to one side. So that, and then that really affects your psychology, your brain, how much oxygen you're getting into your system. So think about all of that. So then you've got cold showers. I mentioned that earlier. You got to have your cold showers in the morning. You got to, dip yourself in the cold shower as much as you can in order to like relieve that energy. Masaru Emoto, Dr. Masaru Emoto is really important. We're gonna get to the really dark ones at the end. So hold that thought, y'all. We're gonna go demons. We're gonna talk about demons. But first, we're gonna talk about the gym. Go to the gym. Go to the gym. Put on your headphones. Be on your own runway. Set your own tone. Go to the gym. Go to the treadmill. Get your exercise on. You know what I mean? Work out. Move your body. Move your body. Take a class. Be a part of yoga. Stretch out. When you have. I saw my neighbor today. Wow, my energy. It was so like I want to go to the gym too. It was like almost like they came back from Disneyland, like the glow and everything. And I love it when people go to the gym and see them coming back to the gym, be like, I worked out and they're so like amazing at this to have all this energy and they can like fly. Wee, you know what I mean? Gotta go to the gym. Gotta go to the gym. I know I've been lagging on the gym, but I gotta go to the gym. All right. So and support system. It's not you're not, not everybody's gonna be. A lot of people are like, why are you depressed? Why are you sad? You got shit to do. Why are you sad? Children in Africa. Why are you sad? The war in Iraq, or Israel. All of that. Why are you sad? The state of the world. Why are you sad? Why are you sad? Why don't you go out there and do something? That's their mentality. Once you take a shower, that's the mentality. And as much as a shower is really good, it doesn't really fix the problem. There are internal, deep, 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 deep problems, and you need to be able to connect to people. The universe sends you angels. Tell your story. Open up. Jaleel Jamil. I want to say I was so stressed out about getting her name right. She wrote this amazing thing on Substack, and it was just beautiful. And it was about how I haven't read it yet. I shouldn't say that it was beautiful, but the point is that she's an amazing human being, and she had a situation happen to her where she was assaulted, and it really like it shook me. It shook me completely. It just and I think to myself like, okay, like I'm suffering from depression and people are suffering from depression, but there's people that are like really fearing to go outside. There's a whole like gender, and that's a whole video talk about women and the whole state of the world. So, but the point, okay, so share and so connect. The point is connect with people, share, share, share as much as you can. See what you can do. Find out how you can help. When you're connected to other people, it gets you up and going. There's some people from the Gaza that I've been communicating with, and I'm really hoping to help however I can these children in Gaza, and so there's a lot of amazing people in Gaza doing amazing work and getting help for the children. So I highly recommend Ukraine, Palestinians, even countries that don't have wars. And in the United States alone, there's a lot of children that go to bed without food. Within our own neighborhood, people can just go down the street and ask, food pantries and be like, what do you need? Can I grow something? Can I grow some tomatoes, some fruits, all that kind of stuff. So share. Just have that sharing consciousness. When you feel you're connected to other people, it really helps you feel like you're important. You have to feel like you're important in this world. I think that in a world with we are so isolated from each other, we don't feel important, and then it's easy for other people to be like, I don't want to talk to that person. You know what I mean? To have perceptions and to build a whole like dossier on you. Be like, and then you heard that, and I heard that. Okay, they're out of my list, and I'm not even going to reply to them. Very easy, to be that kind of society where we just write people off and they're dead to us, you know? And it hurts. It hurts. And have I done it? Probably. You know, it's this weird brainwashing that we have somehow have gone through that it's like people live my life out. And then whatever happened to like Sailor Moon forever, so yeah, I think that share, regardless of whether you're gonna get it back, whether you're not, whatever, what you give is what you take with you. And then we're gonna talk a little bit, get into the darker, the whole S. you know, I want a suicide. I just don't know which side. Maybe the homo side because they're so fashionable. So I need a lawyer. So we're gonna talk about that. All right, I don't care, YouTube. If I think eventually people are gonna be like, "Oh, this is so exhausting. Let's just talk like human beings." So yeah. So what stopped me? First of all, I started learning Kabbalah. And in the teachings of Kabbalah, you learn or just spirituality in general, it's like you start back from square one. What all the things that I've done, all the paintings, all the drawings, all the sharing, every video that I've ever given you, everything that I have ever done, I start from day one. Okay. But not just that, with also the another link in that S chain. Another link in that S chain that drags me down. So the thought, the strength, the weight, all of that. Has it happened before? Maybe it has. That's perhaps why I have that energy with me. So you're adding another chain because life is infinite. You are going to thrive, you're going to grow. So I think to myself, don't, because you're just gonna remove and nothing, your entire existence, everything, the entire reality of what you have done will no longer exist. Anything that you have shared, any of you, then will no longer exist. Well, for you, it will cease to exist, and that those flowers that were planted and everything, they will just wither away because your energy. You know what I mean? That's what I think. So, for the sake of humanity, for the sake of myself, for the sake of not having to start the game all over again, I say no. Are there moments when I pray to the Lord, it's like, this is too much. This is really too much. This is really too much. Yeah. Oh, totally. And then the Lord goes, okay, I'll send you an angel. And then, you hear a sense of like why you need to stay alive and you need to have your eyes open and your ears open for that. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, the dark one, huh? We're going to talk about demons. Are there demons? Yes. There's demons everywhere. And just like there is an angel that governs every single molecule, there's a demon that governs every single molecule. That's my theory. I don't know if that's necessarily true. People that say there's legions and whatnot, and they're created by certain acts. The point is that they're out there. They're out there and they're whispering. They're like, "You suck. I am so the whole like the two demons on the angel and the demon thing? That's totally true. That's totally, totally true. Do you feel like it's true? You have that voice of like, oh, you should get up. You should share. You should be loving. You should be caring. You should care about people and be like, no. Those people suck, and they're always gonna suck, and they're always gonna be hateful and stupid, and they're always gonna be mean, and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So no. So you have those two sides, and there's a gradation of people. There's people out there, they're like, everything sucks, and everybody sucks. And there's people that are like, everything sucks, but not everything. And there's people like, everything's great. So you see it in the gradation of humanity, you see it in the gradation of individuals. So what's the path? What's the right path? But I'll go back to the demons. So that's a whole other issue. What's the right path? So you know what the right path is. Why do I have to make a video? The point is the demons. So the demons will literally whisper to the point where it's like they'll say things like I. They'll speak in I. So it's like you're not necessarily hearing a voice, you're hearing a thought, and the thought is, I am worthless. Because the demon is not saying you are worthless. The demon wants you to believe that this thought is coming from you. So that's really something that you need to be aware of. And once you kind of like, and the really good thing is to open up and say, Spirit guides, make me constantly aware and open to all the forces that may be damaging me, all the forces that may be helping me. Help me align to the light, help me be connected, help me be good, help me move forward and progress and share and create more for others in the world. So when you say those things, you can say them 3 times. A lot of people say it 3 times. You know what I mean? So yeah. So at the end of the day, we are all love. And this video was really inspired by someone that I hold someone that I hold very dear, a dear friend, one of my a dear friend. And we were having this conversation about, depression and mental illness and all this other stuff. And it really put me in a state of emergency, in this kind of first a beautiful sense of state of emergency of like, I need to help. I need to whatever I can do because this is an amazing angel or this is a beautiful soul and I need to help however I can help. To this new revelation. And then it opened up and it also within that same time frame, it opened up to what's going on in the world with women. So keep an eye out as to what's a video for what's going on with women in order to kind of like get myself on the tone before the sun goes down and try to get you a video about what's going on with women. I love you. I love you especially more than all the other viewers for this particular video. You know who you are. You're an angel, and I want to hug you forever. And you're one of my little everythings. Okay, and yeah. We've talked about it. We've had this conversation. You can see the tears flowing in my eyes about how much I care and how much invested I am in your well-being, and not just in your well-being, but in the well-being of every child and perhaps human being on this planet. You know, with that in mind, I want to wish you all a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful eternity.